I said
Linner.
Linner. It's like
lunch dinner.
Yeah.
Linner, yeah.
Linner,
It's not
it's
as
in
late as
between.
dinner, but it's not as early as lunch.
It's just fun, don't ruin it.
Yeah.
What's going on, craft beer lovers? I'm Jeff.
I'm Jacob.
And today we are in San Diego, California at Pure Project Brewing. Now, I've heard a lot about this place. In fact, I tried them a couple of years ago at a local craft beer bar called Native Son. Shout out to you guys. And their beers were phenomenal. I've since been here once before, and their beers obviously didn't disappoint either. So I figured if Jacob and I are here in San Diego, we gotta come see them.
I've never been here before. I've only had a small handful of their stuff, so I'm pretty excited to finally try them at the actual tasting room, which, as I poke my head in, is quite small.
Yeah, this place is not huge. It's not a massive audience kind of brewery. However, their beers speak volumes to the masses. I mean, if you live in San Diego, you know what Pure is. Even if you don't live in San Diego, I feel like at this point you know what Pure is. But regardless, we're gonna go drink some beers. We're gonna hang out with some San Diego locals, and I'm super excited. Jacob, are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Let's have some beer. Alright guys, so get ready, because here's your history lesson on Pure Project Brewing. It started a long time ago in 2013 by two people, Jesse Pine and Matt Robar. Jesse had just recently moved to Costa Rica, and the two of them actually went on a backpacking trip in the Rocky Mountains. While they were out there, obviously you're in nature, there's not a lot to do other than maybe communicate and enjoy your scenery. And they started talking about beer, starting a brewery, that kind of idea, and Jesse came up with a great idea to start a brewery in Costa Rica. So sure enough, they did, and it was successful for a while, but the problem is there's a huge lack of resources in the area that they opened their brewery in. So they were kind of forced to make a decision. Do we stay here and try to make it work, or do we move forward and maybe move our project into the States? And sure enough, there was an opening for an area that they could, you know, buy into as a brewery right here in Miramar, which is where we're standing now, and they decided to invest in it in 2015. Now 3 years later, even though this tasting room is super tiny, this is one of the biggest names in San Diego breweries. Everybody I've ever talked to that lives in Southern California knows Pure Project. They have can releases on the regular, lines going all the way down the street. I mean, this is a brewery of all breweries. When it comes to this place, the way that I know them is Hazy IPAs. As I had mentioned earlier, I had them about 2.5 years ago in Orange County. I had one of their famous Hazy IPAs, which I'll be reviewing today. You'll get to check that out. And you know, they're probably just only gonna get bigger from here. But I love their roots, I love their scenery, definitely got the Costa Rican vibes here, and yeah, let's review some beer. Alright guys, so I have a fellow craft beer fan and a brewer at Modern Times. This is Megan. and she joined up with us today, and she's gonna review one of the beers here with me. This is called Crème de Pêche. Crème de Pêche?
I think it's Pesh.
Pêche?
Yeah,
Maybe
I used to work for Dogfish Head, and they did a sour, like a Berliner Weiss with peaches.
And they called it Pêche?
Peanut Pesh, yeah.
Crème de Pêche. It's a cream ale with organic peaches, and it sounds fantastic, so we're gonna try it. Cheers. That is all peach.
Yeah, it's definitely all peach. You get a lot of that like tartness. It almost gives like, I don't know, it reminds me of like a pie a little bit.
I think just that natural peach flavor for sure. The cream ale, the body's really light. It's got a little bit of a sweetness to it, very soft mouthfeel. But yeah, that organic peach, I mean, there's no mistaking this. This isn't artificial flavoring. This is straight up like natural peach flavor. It's like biting into a peach just right at the grocery store.
Just the aroma is like really juicy. Yeah. I love when breweries use fresh fruit instead of like extract. I just feel like it's just so much more like enjoyable,
yeah,
drinkable.
It just feels real. It feels like what you're actually drinking versus some
candy.
Yeah, some candy. We know a couple breweries like that, by the way. But yeah, you know what? This is one of those beers for me. When I meet people that say that maybe they're not a fan of beer, or maybe they're somebody who likes to partake in like the fruitier, like alcoholic beverages, or maybe even they just like blended fruit beverages and they don't like beer. This is something that they could drink. And at 4.8%, this is easy to take down for sure.
Yeah, I feel like the fruit definitely makes beers more like palatable to people who are like a little more introductory, and especially people who might like wine a bit more. I tend to suggest like fruit beers, or especially tart beers, because it's kind of reminiscent of like wine.
Yeah, definitely.
Sort of the flavors that they have too.
Yeah, and I mean the tartness, by the way, is quite mild on this one. I mean, to me, it's more cream ale with peaches added than anything else. And if any of you out there know about my home brewing, I actually made a peaches and cream ale about 1.5 years ago when Carrie Fisher passed away. And so this is what I wish it could have been. It was still a really good beer, but yeah, I mean, Pure Project, what do you expect? So yeah, great beer.
Alright guys, so my first beer is going to be Low, an unfiltered Pilsner, dry hopped with Mosaic. I mean, this sounds like just a great time. I love Pilsners, and I love when you start experimenting with dry hopping and like different variations of hops on them. Typically, you know, old school Pilsners are only going to be using continental, like German, European hops. Mosaic is not one of those, so I'm really happy to kind of be trying something that's experimenting with more American hops in a German style of beer. Cheers. Ooh, it smells really good. Oh, that's just hops. Oh, that is a good beer. Really light, really sessionable. You get this nice, just bright, kind of citrusy note. It's a very bright beer. I'm a little surprised. I guess this batch of Mosaic is just very bright on the tongue, and I really like that. I could drink a lot of this. This is very easy to drink, very light. It's very good on like a hot day. Today wasn't, thankfully, not too hot. San Diego is a lot more forgiving than where we're from because of its proximity to the ocean. But even still, it wasn't exactly a cold day, so I appreciate a beer like this in this kind of climate. So that's really good. Yeah, Mosaic was a good choice. Good job, guys.
So the next beer that we're going to review is called Neon Light Diamond. This is an Imperial Goes with kiwi and blood orange. It rings in at 8.5%. I don't think I've ever had a Goes above maybe like 6.
Yeah, I don't think I have either. We do a lot of Goses at Modern, and they're all pretty low ABV.
Yeah, so I'm interested. It looks murky, almost like a hazy. So yeah, let's dig in. Cheers.
It's super juicy. It's very,
Wow.
It's a little thick, like kind of creamy and thick.
Normally with a Goza, I expect like a little bit of saltiness to kind of offset some of those like sweeter flavors. I'm not really getting a lot on this. I get a ton of kiwi on the nose, a little bit of blood orange, and then when you dig in, it's just pure juice.
I get some saltiness.
Really?
Yeah. I've been drinking a lot of Gozas lately though. I feel like it's like, I don't know if it's like a trend or...
on the back end, I get it.
Yeah, it kind of sits on your tongue a little bit.
I wish it just hit it a little bit sooner because I got all just pure juice as soon as I dig in. Ghostbusters from Noble, have you had that? So Ghostbusters from Noble, shout out to Noble. That one is just, it's got like just a beautiful salt like as soon as you hit it, and so it just, I don't know, it finishes out real clean. It's super refreshing. This is good, but I feel like the level of juice in this for me is heavy. It's heavy.
I agree. I've never had kiwi in a beer either.
Yeah, you never had kiwi at all?
No, I have, just not in a beer.
In a beer. Oh man, Night Shift Brewing. They had an awesome Berliner Weiss with kiwi. Oh man. If you guys live in that area, that Boston area, you guys frequent Night Shift, please do me a favor, tell me the name of that. And if they come out with cans, let me know so I can get one to her. Because it was kiwi and strawberry, and it was unreal. It was so good.
Try that.
Yeah, it's so unreal. But still a really good beer. If you're a Goz fan, I would say that you're going to enjoy this. Just for me, it's a little too heavy on the fruit side.
I feel like a taster is like a good amount. I don't think I could drink a whole glass.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do like an 8 or 12 ounce pour of this at all. But it's still good.
So, up next we have Madeline, which is a barrel-aged farmhouse saison at 7% ABV. You and Jeff were chatting it up, so I kind of like was drinking my own shit behind the camera. But yeah, now I'm back. I've joined you.
Yeah, you got a lot of empties over there.
Yeah. But this one isn't one of them. So let's do good. So I don't know her as much as Jeff does. So you don't know me as well. Barrel-aged, like saison, barrel-aged things, those are like my jam.
Yeah, mine too.
So like that's what I go towards. Anytime I go look on like a board list, I basically hunt for what's in a barrel. To a fold sometimes. Yeah, so what do you think of this one?
I think it's definitely, like you definitely get a lot of that wine flavor.
Oh yeah.
The saison's kind of like that yeast, like flavors are kind of in the back more so. I think like a lot of that like tartness from the is like more front forward. Yeah,
it doesn't specifically say what barrel it was put in, so it could have been a wine barrel, could have been neutral oak. Kind of feels like maybe it wasn't a wine barrel because there is something very kind of vinous about it. There's definitely a tartness to it. I don't fully know what I attributed that to. Probably there's some lacto floating around in there.
Yeah, there's not a lot of like descriptors on the board. So.
Yeah, so it kind of leads a lot to just our own imagination. There's definitely been in a barrel for sure. There's definitely that barrel character is in there. It's nice. It's light. It's definitely kind of that like weird tart barrel funkiness. It's not musty funky, but it is very like more tart funky. If that makes more sense.
I feel like if someone was pretty new to beer drinking and they were like into wine, that this is something that they could kind of start on.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. Yeah, wine drinkers, they're just kind of dipping their toes into beer. Yeah, maybe grab Madeline. this is something that's pretty nice. It's not too heavy on the ABV. It's not too tart. It's not like enamel stripping, which is something that we kind of describe as like the way over the board tart level. This isn't quite hitting that point. Yeah, I would say this is approachable. It's definitely hitting that kind of like pickle juicy sort of territory.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's like if you're someone who doesn't like pickled cucumbers, you're not gonna like this beer. I will definitely say that, because it definitely hits some similar notes. But I do love pickles. Picklebacks are growing on me, but I do like this beer. So, yeah. Have you had pickleback? While we're on that note?
I haven't. There was a bar back from my hometown in Baltimore that was really big on them. I like picklebacks without the pickle juice. I'll take the whiskey.
Okay, just the whiskey, yeah, for sure. Well, I also wouldn't mind whiskey with those either. I can also accept that. Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
Alright guys, so the next beer up is called Blood Magic. This is an 8.5% Sour Double IPA with blood oranges, hibiscus, and lactose. They actually recently had a can release of this, and I mean, judging by the color, I'm super excited about it. So, you ready? Cheers.
There's a really great aroma.
Oh man.
It's got that like nice dank kind of
Yes.
hop profile.
Yeah, slightly dank. You get a little bit of sweetness from the blood orange. Get a little bit of floral from the hibiscus. Dig in and it's
I like when beers are kind of balanced in the sense when you do an IPA and then you add a lot of stuff on top of it. I feel like sometimes beers are really strong in one area as opposed to like, you know, like for the hops or the bitterness and like the fruit, and I like that this has like a really good aroma with like the hops, and then it's just very tart and like palatable, crushable.
It is. My mouth is watering as I drink this. It's wow. Would I call it an IPA? No. Would I call it a sour? No. It's definitely a like hybrid between the both, or between the two. The fantastic flavors that come out of this. I mean, the blood orange, it's not overly citrus, it's just the right amount. Provides a great, beautiful tartness to your palate. The rose hips or hibiscus, whatever you want to call it. You know, that's, if you've ever had a hibiscus or rose hips beer, you know what I'm talking about. It's floral, but not that particular floral. I mean, this is a unique flavor. And then it's sour, but not overly sour, and then you just get beautiful, like dank, bitter, hop flavors out of this as well. And it's, what was it, 8.5%, very highly drinkable as well, I will say.
I feel like everything's there, but they're also like not overpowering. They're kind of subtle, so they just balance like, really well.
Yeah, they blend. They all harmonize together very, very nicely. This is, I don't know, this is probably my favorite so far.
Dinner.
It's like
lunch dinner.
Yeah.
Dinner, yeah.
Later,
it's not as late as dinner, but it's not as early as lunch.
It's just fun, don't ruin it.
Yeah. Alright, so up next is going to be Primevals, which I think appropriately is a collaboration between Pure Project and Bottle Logic. So a little bit of something SD and a little bit of something OC. This guy is a stout at 13% that is made with Carolina Reaper peppers, as well as, what else is in this guy?
I don't know, it's kind of chocolatey and roasty.
So, coffee.
Yeah.
Coffee, go figure. So if the Carolina Reapers weren't enough, there's also some coffee to just like amp you up as you also feel the heat. Fun. Cheers. That is very creamy.
This has been one of my favorites, I think. I appreciate a brewery that can make a beer with peppers that isn't overwhelming.
Yeah, you mean, it doesn't like punish you just for drinking it.
That you
That's
don't need a
definitely
glass
not
of
a
milk
reference to anything, I'm sure. It's not like a crime or anything. Anyways.
I like that there's just like a little bit of heat. It's kind of like a tickle on your tongue. I definitely enjoy the roastiness too. And I feel like they probably use some sort of like dark chocolate malts or something.
Oh yeah,
it's definitely
they must,
chocolatey.
yeah. I can't really get over how it's 13% and it's so creamy and rich. Like, this doesn't really feel like 13%, except that you do feel a little bit of heat. You do feel a little bit of like heat, not just from the peppers, but also a little bit from the alcohol, but not too much. Not for like 13%. This is pretty reasonable.
Well, the more you drink it, you definitely get a little bit more heat.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those like builds as you drink it, for sure.
I feel like I could drink a whole glass of this. Like you were saying, it doesn't seem like 13%.
Yeah.
And then like I was saying, it's not overwhelming with the peppers. So I could totally have a whole pint of this.
Yeah. I did want to mention, I believe this was brewed like several months ago, so I think they might still be on that same batch. I don't know how recently they've rebrewed it. It doesn't have like a batch number or anything on the board, so I'm just going to assume that it might be from that first batch. In which case, it kind of makes sense that maybe the chilies are starting to die off. That being said, they're still present. Like, I still know that there's something spicy in this beer when I drink it.
Alright, so the next beer up is called Dark Side of the Sun. This is a 10.5% Imperial Golden Stout with coffee, cocoa, cacao, and vanilla. All I gotta say is that this has got a fantastic, like, clear face to it, and something that has coffee and cacao. Every time I see a light beer with those kind of flavors, I'm stoked on it. And 10.5%. So we only have one of them, so I'm gonna try and then she'll try it. So big cheers.
Cheers. I actually haven't had a golden stout. This will be like the second one I've ever had. The first one I had was when I interned back in Delaware at like a small brewery called Biscayne River, and they did.
Never had naughty sauce from Noble? She never had naughty sauce from Noble!
I know, I'm horrible.
Someone needs to go to Orange County.
Like working at a brewery, my fridge is just like packed full of Modern Times and whatever my friends bring me, and it's not Noble, so.
Your excuses are invalid. Naughty sauce from Noble. I'm taking her there. You were there at the anniversary. How did you not have naughty sauce there?
Because I had a lot of beer and I couldn't tell you.
I couldn't tell you anything about that day, to be honest with you. I was pretty hammered too.
It was all great and there was a lot of dancing.
Yes, lots of dancing. Okay,
it's really good, though. It's very,
thoughts on this?
Mouthfeel, it's very smooth. It's like very creamy.
This is honestly very reminiscent of naughty sauce. It's got that light, creamy mouthfeel. The malt profile is extremely mild. It's just kind of sitting on the back. You get a little bit of like coffee notes.
Roastiness, yeah.
It's not overly like it doesn't taste like a roaster's coffee. It's not super strong or super predominant. But what you're getting a lot of is that cocoa and cacao, which, I mean, I still don't know how to differentiate between the two, but what I'm going to say is it's like, it's not sweet chocolate, it's like the non-sweet chocolate. Like if you bake, you know, like they have like the non-sweet chocolate and like the sweet chocolate. It's like the non-sweet kind.
It's good though. Like again, it's really well balanced. I think they do a great job at Pure Project with balancing all the flavors.
And that lacing though, look at that lacing. I mean, you can't see it because Megan's just, you know, taking up the whole camera. Apparently our focus loves faces, but anyways, yeah, lacing is dope on this beer. It's ridiculous.
It's delicious. I think I'm gonna steal this.
Yeah, this is probably one of the better ones that we've had today, for sure. This is high drinkability. If I wanted a beer and a morning coffee, that's it, in a glass. All right, so last beer up for us is one of their staples here at Pure Project. It's called Merklin's. It's a Hazy Pale Ale, 5.5% with Citra hops. I've had this before. In fact, this is the beer The first beer that I've ever had from Pure Project made me fall in love with them. It made me actually come out to San Diego to try these beers a while ago and spend a lot of money on a beautiful growler, which maybe you'll see later because I plan on filling it. Have you ever tried Merklin's?
I haven't. Actually, I hadn't tried much Pure Project. When I worked at McKellar, we did a collab with them. But yeah, I'm stoked to try this. I've heard awesome things.
I mean, for all you Haze bros out there, this is like their solid go-to. But yeah, I don't know. Let's just give it a shot. Here we go. Cheers. Smell it before you drink it. Oh, yeah.
Definitely a lot of like dank, citrusy aroma.
So good.
It's really creamy. Like again, it's like a really nice, like kind of pillowy mouthfeel.
Super soft mouthfeel, very reminiscent of like a monkish style beer.
Sure.
The citrus notes on the aroma, I mean, it's just fantastic. It smells like oranges, tangerines, grapefruit, and then you just get like this, I don't know, it's not a sharp aroma, but it's still jumping out at you, and then when you dive into the beer itself, it's just fantastic citrus body. Oh, yeah, it's good.
I feel like a lot of breweries now are doing hazies, and I feel like they think it's all about just kind of the appearance, like actually being hazy, and I like that this has that pillowy mouthfeel. I feel like that's, you know, like I guess like a standard of hazies, like what it should taste like or what it should feel like.
All right, guys, so we have tried all the beers here at Pure Project, and it's time to tell you which ones our favorites were. I'm gonna go ahead and start. To be honest with you guys, Pure Project has been one of those breweries for the last 2 or 3 years who has stuck in my mind. It's like that girl you see at a party and you can't get her out of your head because you were too afraid to talk to her and you didn't ask for her phone number or nothing. Anyways, we're here in San Diego, so I was forced to ask for her phone number because I was legit here, and we tried some amazing beers. I'm gonna tell you right now, Merklin's, when it comes to hazy IPAs, is one of the best go-tos, especially on the low ABV realm. They had a really solid, the Dark Side of the Sun was a really solid, like just golden stout, beautiful cocoa notes and all kinds of goodness in that. But I'll tell you, there was one that stood out to me. There was one that stood out to me, and not only because it was not necessarily in my wheelhouse, but it was also just an overall bomb-ass beer. And that was Blood Magic. Blood Magic was just a beautiful blend of blood orange, hibiscus, like just amazing dank notes from the hops. I mean, it is just delicious. And I mean, come on, the color, you can't dispute the color. It just makes it so much better. So, all in all, yeah, this is my winner. What about you, Jacob?
So I had a really difficult time deciding because I thought a lot of Pure Project beers were very tasty, very good, and from what I tried, they were kind of all over the place in terms of style. Like, there wasn't one specific style that I thought they did better than the other. It was just several styles that I thought were very well done. And that kind of made it hard to pick one. In the end, I kind of had a help from Jeff.
I basically forced him to pick
Kind of, but I don't fully blame him because I did really like that beer, so I can't really like say that he forced me to. And that was Primevals.
Primevals.
the stout that was a collab with Bottle Logic with Carolina Reaper chili peppers. It had just a nice amount of kick to it. Once again, I'm not sure if this is the same batch that is batch 1, but where the peppers are now, they're just spicy enough that you get them, they start building, but they're not overwhelming.
And they don't linger too long.
Yeah, it's just pleasant. And once again, if you couldn't guess from my review, I just like the base stout. Like, I thought it was really nicely done, so yeah, well done. Primevals is just, it's a good stout. Carolina Reaper's fresh or not fresh, notwithstanding, kind of doesn't matter. It's just a good stout, so yeah.
There you go.
It's a good beer.
So there you have it, guys. We've reviewed the beers here at Pure Project. You know, this is not the biggest brewery you've ever seen. Literally, the last brewery we were at was 20 to 50 times this size. But what I will tell you is what they lack in size, they make up for in quality here. You need to come out here, check the place out, drink some bomb-ass beers, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. So,
oh yeah,
cheers.
Cheers.
All right, guys, so that's gonna do it here at Pure Project Brewing in San Diego, California. Can't believe we made it here. We did it. Jacob's got hiccups, so you know we had a good old time. Thank you so much for the staff that worked here today. You guys took good care of us. And Megan, I'm so glad you joined us as well.
It was great, yeah.
I'll tell you guys, if you want to follow her on Instagram, I'm going to put her information down below. So if you guys enjoyed this episode, please make sure that you give us a thumbs up. Share with your friends. If you guys love craft beer, like, please share with your friends. Like, we need the exposure.
Yeah.
And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And if you have subscribed, you guys know, like, that little bell thing apparently helps a lot. So click the bell, and every time we come out with a new episode, you'll know. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you again on Let's Have Some Beer. Cheers.